Before we dive into creatine, I want to share a quick personal story. It will explain a lot about why people still misunderstand this supplement. About 10 years ago, a routine blood test at my GP had a letter in the post saying I had kidney disease. It caught me completely off guard. I was training regularly, feeling strong, and had no reason to think anything was wrong. I'll come back to that story in a bit, because it highlights one of the biggest myths people still believe about creatine. But first, let's talk about what creatine is and why it's so misunderstood. Creatine. What is it? Whenever I talk to people at the gym, there's still a bit of hesitation when supplements come up, especially creatine. Some still think it's unnatural, or even a type of steroid. But here's the truth. Creatine is one of the most studied, safest, and most effective supplements out there. Let's break it down. Creatine is a naturally occurring amino acid. Your body already makes it. When you supplement with creatine, it increases phosphocreatine stores in your muscles. That's important because phosphocreatine helps your body produce ATP, which is the main fuel your muscles use during short, intense bursts of activity. Think sprinting, lifting, explosive training. Creatine powers that kind of effort. It also draws water into your muscle cells, increasing intracellular water volume. This causes a slight swelling effect, known as cell volumization, which is why your muscles may look fuller. But it's not just cosmetic. This extra fluid helps shuttle in nutrients like amino acids and glucose, creating ideal conditions for muscle growth and recovery. And it's not just your body that benefits. Your brain runs on ATP too. Creatine helps regenerate ATP in the brain, supporting focus, memory, recall, and problem solving, especially during mentally demanding tasks. So yes, creatine can give your brain a little extra fuel too. Now, does creatine work for everyone? Not always. Some people are what we call non-responders. They might not experience the same strength or size gains from creatine. Why? Usually because their muscles already have high baseline creatine levels, either from a protein-rich diet or genetics. It doesn't mean anything's wrong, it just means their body might not need the extra support. Non-responders aren't defined by body type. Both lean and muscular athletes can have naturally high creatine levels. One important thing to remember when using creatine: stay hydrated. Since it draws water into your muscles, some people may experience temporary bloating or a puffy feeling. This usually settles with time, and drinking more water can really help. Let's talk about some of the most common concerns people have about creatine. First, hair loss. There was a single study that showed a slight increase in DHT, a hormone linked to hair loss, but no participants actually lost hair, and to date, there's no real-world evidence that creatine causes baldness. Second, is 10 grams a day too much? Not necessarily. 10 grams a day is commonly used during short loading phases, like the first 5 to 7 days of supplementation. But for most people, 3 to 5 grams a day is plenty once your muscles are saturated. More isn't always better, your body just excretes the extra. That said, recent research suggests that higher doses, up to 20 grams per day, may offer cognitive benefits, particularly for brain health in older adults or during high mental demand. Third, should teenagers take creatine? Some research shows it may benefit adolescent athletes, but most medical organizations still recommend against it for those under 18. Since long-term safety data is limited for developing bodies, it's best to approach creatine use with caution. Fourth, and the big one, does creatine damage your kidneys? Here's where we circle back to my story. When you take creatine, your muscles store it as phosphocreatine, which is then used to rapidly produce ATP. As your body naturally breaks down creatine, it produces a waste product called creatinine. Creatinine enters your bloodstream and is filtered out by your kidneys, then excreted in urine. That's why creatinine levels in your blood are used to check kidney function. But here's the catch. High creatinine doesn't always mean kidney damage. Muscular people tend to have naturally higher creatinine levels, even without supplements. So, If you're lifting regularly or have a lot of muscle mass, a blood test might show elevated creatinine, even if your kidneys are perfectly healthy. That's exactly what happened to me back when I was misdiagnosed. The elevated creatinine levels on my blood test made it look like something was wrong. But after a radioisotope test, which measures actual kidney function, a specialist confirmed my kidneys were working perfectly. My muscle mass pushed my creatinine levels higher than expected, which threw off the blood work. A radioisotope test is quick and painless. It uses a small amount of a safe tracer to track how well your kidneys are filtering. It gave me peace of mind, and it showed me firsthand that lab numbers don't always tell the whole story. That said, everyone is different, and I'm not a doctor, just someone who's been taking it on and off for over 20 years. If you have underlying health concerns, it's always worth getting checked by a professional before starting any supplement, including creatine. In fact, poor diet, high blood pressure, and diabetes pose far more risk to kidney health than creatine ever has. In healthy adults, research consistently shows creatine is safe when taken at recommended doses. So what's the bottom line? Creatine isn't a magic bullet. It works best when paired with the basics. Eat a balanced diet. Stay hydrated. Stay active. Take care of the fundamentals. That's where real results come from. If you found this helpful, give the video a like and hit subscribe. And let me know in the comments what supplement you'd like me to break down next. I think I've tried most of them. Until next time, train smart, stay strong, and I'll catch you in the next one.